How's it going, everybody? Aloha and welcome back to Bo's Football Final. Rob DeMello with University of Hawaii head football coach Todd Graham. And now let's talk some football. You obviously have more hiring to do as far as your coaching staff goes, and I feel like it would be unfair for you to talk about some and not all. But can you look at the whole when you're projecting as far as the coaching staff that you want here at the University of Hawaii and what they represent? What is it to you?
First and foremost, the things I've talked about from a value standpoint, I want to be around great men. I want to be around men that make me a better man by working with them and associating with them. And so these guys will be great men first and foremost, and great mentors and great role models for our players. And they'll be extremely motivated and passionate about making a difference in young people's lives. So we'll all have a single call to our life. And so the second part of that, they're going to be great teachers. And I want, and there's you know, I believe diversity in talents is the key to being great. And so I'm not a person, I used to get in a big hurry and buy in that you got to hire everybody overnight and all that. And I'm taking my time, because the most important thing that I'm going to do is hire the men that are going to impact and teach and develop our players here. And so I want to make sure it's a great fit, and we're well on our way to doing that. I think we're getting close to finalizing the full-time staff, and then we'll move from there. But obviously, found a lot of quality people that were here, and I think we got an opportunity with the people that we're bringing in to really develop a dynamic staff.
How important is that balance of having coaches that you coached with before, having coaches that maybe you've coached as players, and then having coaches that you haven't worked with to teach you new things, to introduce you into things? Is that the hope as far as finding that balance?
Yeah, I think you have to hire a staff that's unique to the University of Hawaii. This is probably the most unique Division I program in the country, geographically where it's located. That's not even taking consideration that what I think is important, when you can put together what the values of a community is, and you can get a program that represents and embraces those values, that's when you're able to create some. Because you know, football is about the heart. It's not the most talented team that wins. It's the most disciplined team, and discipline comes from the heart. When you captivate someone's heart, you're able to train at a level. When they giving you everything that they have, they're giving their best every day. That's how you're able to accomplish the key ingredients to being successful in anything, and that's discipline. The staff will look different at the University of Hawaii than it would somewhere else. You don't just, it doesn't, I've learned that over the years. Now there's some coaches that aren't happy with me right now because they'd been with me before, and it just wasn't a fit here. But these players and these fans and the people of Hawaii are relying on me to make the right decision, to put together the right group, to bring a program here that will continue to be successful, but represent this program with honor and integrity in the way that they want it done. And so that's something that I'm really working hard on to make sure I have that. And it'll be a combination. Obviously, people that have been with me and that are master teachers, you know, those are people I want with me, and we'll have some of that. It'll be about, you know, you will have probably, you know, half the staff, but then those people still have to match and have to fit the values of this state and this university and this athletic department.
In regards to recruiting, you made it very clear that your thought process is islands out. You want to make sure that you hit the islands hard. There's always been this belief that if you don't have Hawaii ties, it's so difficult to recruit the island football player. How much do you take that as a challenge, and how much do you embrace that as, you know what, I'm someone that can get that done?
Yeah, you know, I think it'd be very difficult. You know, you can have all the confidence. Well, I'm a relationship person, and I think people know if you're genuine, and so people will open them, you know, be open to that, and your actions will speak louder than your words. If all things are equal, we're taking the player here. If we're on our football team and all things are equal, we have a kid from Hawaii and a kid from the States, and it's all equal, the kid from Hawaii's playing. Why? Well, we need to fill out a stadium, and this says the University of Hawaii, and we represent the state. So people, I think in time people will recognize your actions more than your words. But it's important, I think, and at least half my staff will be coaches that are ingrained here, that do have existing relationships, that we're not just, we have no idea where we're going or what we're doing. So I think that that's critical. They're going to know they got a coach that loves them, and their coaching staff's going to love them. They're going to love them enough to give them structure and discipline, work them hard. And these parents, when I sit in their home and I give them my word that their son's dreams are my dreams, then I'm going to work with a passion to make those dreams come true.
Quickly, offense and defense, how unique is this situation offensively where you're coming into a program that you're not trying to bring up from the ashes like in so many of your previous stops? This is a program that put up offensive numbers, that had 10 victories in a divisional championship. How unique does that make it as far as trying to balance the offense?
One of the things that I'll do as a head coach is I'll make sure that we build how you build an offense. It's very simple. It's you take the quarterback that we have and the skills that he has, and you build the system around him. And then we design and look at the film of the things that they've done well, and we want to incorporate and keep building upon them. And then we're going to add some things to it. We're going to add some wrinkles to it. There's going to be some, I can tell you that my personality is one that we are going to be physical. Speed, physicality, and finish. That's how we're going to operate. And so that requires a high level of discipline. You know, we'll build, as we build it, we will evolve it. So it'll look different as your quarterback, whoever's your quarterback really drives the package. And I think we've got a really great young man in Chevin coming back that we can build around. And so we're going to be learning. There's going to be a lot of analyzing and learning and designing this spring on offense and defense. We will be sound fundamentally. We are going to be a team that's extremely disciplined and physical in everything that we do. Be nothing finesse about what we're doing, but we're going to be innovative too. We're not going to be, I think that's very, very important because we're trying to, we want to be a program about winning championships, and that takes elite teaching, elite development, and elite learning.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out. A couple of your questions answered by Coach Graham. You're watching Bows Football Final.